Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. We're going to undertake a project today to install a flagpole at my house, and I'm going to show you all the steps that you need to take to do that, how to do each step individually, and then we'll fly Old Glory in front of my house. And I think this is a great project for around 4th of July weekend. And if you have any questions, hopefully this answers all of them for you. And if you have anything else, leave it down in the comments. So to start, you need a flagpole. If you've bought a flagpole from a supplier, you'll get a few things with it. Hopefully you'll get some wooden wedges. You'll get a setting tube. This is really just a piece of pipe. This one's about 3 feet long. I have a 25-foot flagpole, so this is going to go in the ground. So we're going to start by digging a hole in the ground. Now this is about 6 inches in diameter. So we're going to put concrete around this, and to get it to work properly, you need that hole in the ground to be at least double as wide, preferably about 2.5 times as wide. So we're going to dig about a 14 or 15 inch diameter hole in the ground, put some gravel in the bottom of that hole, and then set this down in the ground, and then pour concrete around it. And then eventually the flagpole will go into here, and we'll use some play sand and these wedges to level the flagpole within that. A few other things you'll need. Might be helpful to cut a circle about 16 inches in diameter. We're going to use this. We're going to spray paint around this so it shows how big of a circle we need to dig in the ground. You also will need a shovel, probably a post hole digger, a wheelbarrow, and a level. And also some concrete, probably about 300 pounds. I'm using fast setting concrete, so we don't need to pre-mix it. We could just pour the water around it, but you could also use quick setting or regular concrete that you could mix in a wheelbarrow. So what we're going to do is take the cardboard disc, and we're going to locate. Now you might want to measure or something like that, but in my yard it's pretty easy. We're just going to go right at where the arc stops around this arc here. So basically it comes straight out from where this arc stops, and it stops right where that arc is. So I'm going to kind of line that up so it's in line with that arc. Do the same here, and then we're going to spray paint this circle on the ground so we know how big to dig. All right, now that we've got the hole marked out, the next thing to do is start digging. But before you start digging, if you don't know what is below your ground, below this hole, you should call your local authorities to figure out if they should mark where there's any pipes or things in the ground here. Now on this property, we built this house, so we had this down 2-3 feet before we backfilled it in. So we know there is nothing down there. So I'm not calling for it, but you should almost always call and have pipes and things marked out before you start digging. There's not too much danger when you're using, hand power to dig, but you really should be careful. You could hit a gas line or an electrical line or something that's down there. You should really call before you start digging. So let's dig in. All right, so now that the hole is dug, the sleeves should go in and should be completely below ground. The first thing we're going to do after this is we're going to put about 1 inch or so of bluestone in the bottom. Not completely necessary, but not a bad idea, and I happen to have it around. So I'm going to put about 1 inch of bluestone down there, 3/4 inch bluestone, and then come back. All right, so the next step is we put some bluestone in the bottom there, and we brought this up so it's basically just level with the dirt line. We grab a level and we check in a couple dimensions that this tube is roughly level. Now roughly is all we need for right now. So what we do is we're going to put our concrete in next. Now if this is mixed concrete, you can just pour it around the edges. But this is quick set concrete, so you're going to find the settings and procedure on the bag. For this bag, it's basically to fill the base up 1/3 of the way with water and then put a bag in. So we're going to fill up with water. And then basically with this particular mix, as we fill, we want the concrete to stay wet. So if we fill it and the top layer or the top of the concrete is dry, then we want to add more water. So we're going to fill about enough for this bag, and then we'll get the remaining bags and put them in kind of one at a time. We'll let the smoke clear here. And we'll check right now at the top of our concrete. All right, so once we've done, we're about, I'd say, 20 to 30% of the way up the hole. So we're going to check our level again, make sure that we are staying level. So what we do here is we check the level in one direction, check it there, make sure it's flush against the wall, and then we place it 90 degrees to it and check the level there. So that level there is pretty out, so we have to move that back. We're going to repeat that process. Keep leveling, more concrete, keep leveling, more concrete. So every time what we're doing is we're getting about 1/3 of how much length or depth we think the bag of concrete will fill wet. So we want exposed water down for every new bag. So with quickset concrete, you can lightly apply water to the top like this and just see if water keeps seeping down. Which it is, but it's going very slow now. So we probably are close to making sure everything below it is saturated. It should have been if we were putting 1/3 water in every time we were adding a bag. But there's no problem, just sprinkling a little bit of water on top here. It will drain down and then the concrete will start to set up. And I'd say at this point it's draining very, very slowly, so we definitely have saturated mix below us. Not a problem at this point to kind of it doesn't really matter, but wipe down any surfaces. You're never going to see this again, but I like to do clean work. So also you can get concrete out of your grass, and we let this sit for about 24 hours, although this concrete sets up in about 30 minutes. But we let this cure for about 24 hours, and then we'll go on to installing the flagpole. All right, everyone, well, we're back. It's day 2. The concrete has set up and we're ready to install the flagpole. So what we have here is a 25-foot flagpole. You'll need a level, some wedges, some dry play sand, the hoist or halyard, and the top cap, and the cleat. So the first thing to do will be to install the cleat on the flagpole and put the base below the cleat and tie it there with a piece of string. We don't want to put the base above the cleat because it won't slide past it. So we want to use some of our halyard to tie this to the flagpole so it's resting below the cleat. One thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of silicone adhesive, and we're going to basically surround a little bit of the screws that go into the pole. So this is a fiberglass pole. These are stainless screws, but these inserts, it looks like they're aluminum, and if we want them to last a lifetime, if we ever have to replace the cleat, we want them to come off nice and easy. So we just want to prevent moisture from getting into the thread. So we just want a real small bead of silicone around each area. We don't even need it to show. We just want it to prevent moisture buildup from getting into the threads. So when we tighten these in, they're going to get a little bit of assistance from the silicone. These just snug, you know, don't over tighten them, just snug. And then if any of that silicone kind of squeezes out, we're not really going for that. So we want to wipe any of it away. Ideally, we would keep all of it underneath. We're just trying to prevent water buildup from sitting in the threads. So that looks good. All the silicone's gone and contained. The next thing to do is to put the top on. And before we do that, we also, especially before we hoist and stand the pole up, we want to join both ends of the hoist together. Just fit snug on there. And then we're going to run both of these cords back down to the where the cleat is. So we're going to take both of our joined end, which is one continuous piece of rope now. We're going to throw the base over this, and we are going to tie this around the cleat here. So we'll get it somewhat tight, and then we'll tie this around the cleat. So that's holding the base in place for us. So now we're going to take this over to our hole in the ground. Along with the play sand, the wedges, a knife, and a level. All right, so we've got the pole in now, and it's gonna not want to sit level. And so what we're going to do is start by getting a little bit of sand around the pole, and then we'll put wedges in, and then we'll start filling, once the pole is level, we'll start filling the rest with sand. So we're going to start here by opening up our wedges, and we're going to put wedges, make sure we can go like that. We'll lean these two there. We don't want to drop them. Be a lot to get them out. So, get two here. All right, so these are pretty good. And we'll get two more in the back here, and two more up in the front. Okay, so now we have the wedges, we're going to start leveling. And I brought a hammer in case we need it, but honestly a hammer might provide too much stress on the fiberglass. So, you know, you're going to check the level, so that needs to come this way. So we're going to press some more on this side, a little out on this side, kind of keep going until we see the pole hit its level. So I need another wedge on this side. And you can check both sides, because the pole does have a small taper to it. So it's not gonna be, you don't want both sides to be perfectly level. So we're getting there. Go just a little more. Yeah, that looks good. And now you check the front, and look at that, it's right on. So press the wedges down until they have offer some real resistance. And you can see from yesterday that most likely because my hole here is on a slight incline, that I wasn't digging particularly straight down. So now that we've got the wedges in, and they're in there pretty good, we're just going to start dropping sand down around the whole perimeter. So I don't have a little shovel, but I have a dustpan. We're just going to scoop sand and fill down. All right, so this is what you should see when you're all done. And if any of your wedges are sticking way up, let me move over to this side, like these wedges here, what you'll do is take your knife and make sure they're in nice and good. Take your knife and you can cut them. Now, I wouldn't cut them right at the base down here. I would cut them a little high in case, for example, you need an adjustment, you still have some room. So you just kind of score them across with an X-Acto knife and then break. So now you're ready to take the base down and place it over the top. All right, so the next bit is to take down the base cover here. So we'll uncleat this. be able to let the base cover down. Okay. And then we want to find where our center knot is. Okay, so you've found where the two ends of the rope are going together. So what you want to do is take the above the rope, and if your kit came with these, you can buy them. These are clips for the flag. You don't really need to tie a knot around here. What you want to do is tie a slip. So you form a loop like this. You form a loop, and you place that loop through the clip, pull it back, and then place the clip through the loop. All right, so this gives you a self-tightening loop around this clip that won't loosen. And you can slide it if you need to adjust it a little bit. So pretty useful. So that's going to be the top of the flag. So then you'll get your flag and you'll work your way down with the other loop here and put that on, and then you'll slide it till it holds the flag taut between both of them. So I'm going to do that. So if you're looking here, you want it so that this is taut when it's holding, that the rope here, when the hoist here is taut, this is also in and held taut, or at least very close to it, like that. So when I'm pulling here, this tightens before it tightens on the flag. So we probably want that a little further down, a little further up. So if you've never done this before, hold these together, pull all the way up. And then you come down, around, back, and then when you're here, you just pull this through so that it is like that, and then pull down. And then you can do with the rest what you like. You can let it hang, or you can neatly bunch it up there. Good luck. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you learned a lot from that, and I hope it was helpful. Flag looks great in front of the house. Until next time, keep on making, and God bless America.